All right, let's start with the big story that we are tracking on Wion this hour, where India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's on a two-day visit to Japan, has visited the manufacturing hub of Fanuc Corporation with his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe. Now, Fanuc Corporation is one of the largest makers of industrial robots. Now, during the visit, both the leaders all toured the robotics and automation facilities of the corporation. And also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has gifted Shinzo Abe a stone bowl, the one that you see on your screens, and also carpets specifically crafted for the Japanese Prime Minister. Now, the stone bowls were made from rose quartz and yellow quartz stone sourced from western Indian state of Rajasthan. Now, the carpets were in fact hand-woven by master weavers from the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. Modi has also presented Abe a Jodhpuri wooden vest with Rajasthani traditional work on it. Now, this is Modi's third visit to Japan as the Prime Minister. For his part, Shinzo Abe has visited India in the years 2014, 2015 and 2017 as part of a growing engagement between the two countries. Now, under the framework of the special strategic and global partnership between India and Japan, Modi and Abe will have wide-ranging discussions over 2 days on bilateral, regional and global issues. Now, India has annual summit-level engagements only with two countries. One is with Japan and the other is with Russia. Now, Abe has extended personal welcome to Prime Minister Modi by hosting him at Yamanashi Prefecture for dinner in what is described as his second or his holiday home. Now, connectivity will be one of the top focus in their meetings. Japan is, of course, keen on expanding connectivity projects from India's northeast to neighboring countries such as Bangladesh and Myanmar. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by Ambassador Gurjeet Singh, who is presently joining us from Tokyo. So let me begin by asking you this. Now, India and Japan, two nations, they're not close by, they're not neighbors, but they enjoy a very happy and a very friendly relationship. And this visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Japan goes on to cement that relationship, which, interestingly, is devoid of any sort of acrimony between the two nations.
Indeed, absolutely right. This is a cementing of a successful relationship which has been going on for some time. And the intensity and frequency of dialogue at the summit level between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Abe has been a symbol of the close friendship that India and Japan have come to be. I think the commonality of our views in both strategic, defense, economic, political terms gives us a very clear regional and global view. And I think now we are ready to intensify this and do more together to put up the values that we really cherish.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, Ambassador, if I could put, in perspective, India and Japan share a lot of commonalities. They've got a similar sort of world vision. And there is also a lot that we can, in fact, develop on. Now, Japan has, in fact, would like to have a greater amount of stake in terms of some of the infrastructure projects that are taking place in India. For instance, last year, when Shinzo Abe had been in India, he had announced this bullet train and also the loans that he was giving to India.
Well, Japan has been a leading participant in our infrastructure and other development for many years. But now that China has graduated from the ODA space and the projects in Southeast Asian countries have come down, it is India which is the jewel in the crown of the Japanese outlook towards ODA in Asia. And I think India is the biggest recipient now, and some of the biggest projects are going on in India. There is the freight corridor, there's the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor, and there's the forthcoming bullet train project. Plus, there are many, many more. And the Japanese contribution has been huge. I think when we set up the Act East Forum to link the northeast of India and bring Japanese assistance there, and perhaps link it to our expansion into Myanmar and Thailand, I think that is a good focal area of further development.
Absolutely, indeed, Ambassador. And also considering the fact as to how the geopolitics in the region has been changing, China has been fairly belligerent, and the United States, which has been Japan's biggest ally in terms of providing it with security, it seems to have changed in its nature under President Donald Trump. And the Quad is also been resuscitated recently to try and contain China. Do you see that engagement going forward?
You know, the election of President Trump and the policies that he has followed have perhaps taken both India and Japan a little bit by surprise. Similarly, if you look at China and the aggressive intent it shows, I think that is a matter of common concern for India and Japan. So when you are faced with an uncertain world, you have to look for steadfast friends. And I think India and Japan are one set of such friends. So we have to come together and see how do we keep the Indo-Pacific free and open, how do we keep trade routes open, how do we keep trade open, and make sure that our commitments to globalization are not merely on paper, but actually come out looking good.